You are watching Sam and Carl on PSHRadio, the voices of the paranormal.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are officially back. Just give me like 1 second to do stuff because, yeah. So I hope everybody is well. I shall be getting the guys on in a little bit, but I just wanted to, of course, update you guys. I know it's been a little while since we have been on air. We apologize due to like work schedules and the whole like pandemic thing, and of course us updating radio and stuff. As you can see, if you come from the very beginning, we have a new intro video now. So yes, just 2 minutes and I shall be back with you guys to get this show on the road. So that is it. We are done. And I just need to go on there, in there. Like, this is live for you, so. And then. Hi, Chris. So make sure that I've got my actual phone turned down. So I hope everybody is well. Tonight it's kind of like a newie show because Carl's going to be busy for a little bit, so it's just going to be basically me on this new show. So I'm basically been given the reins for a little bit. Obviously, we will be having our usual Sunday night. Well, it's not going to be Sunday nights now because we've chosen to do different days to work around with us and work around people's schedules because a lot of people can't work on Sundays and things like that. So tonight I am joined by Leslie Ray Sinks and Angel Marie. Leslie is from Reno and Angel is from Las Vegas. Like, I'm so jealous. Like, they're both in like Nevada right now because we've not been like in forever because of the pandemic, and like everybody knows how much me and Carl love Vegas. So tonight we're gonna just talk about like how us three met and talk about his paranormal experiences, talk a little bit about when we visited Zach's museum because we've been together at the museum a few times. And also, if you have any questions for us guys, feel free to put them in the chat. And if you don't know already, please ensure that you allow Streamyard permission so I know who we're talking to if any questions come in and we don't just call you Facebook user. So without further ado, we are gonna get the girls in. Yo!
Hi! Hey.
It's fine. I just realised the background's not on, but it's fine. But it's all right. So how are you both? It's been like forever since we've actually spoke.
Yes, it's been very, very long.
Been very good.
Yes.
Different with the whole pandemic thing and not being able to see you guys, visiting, especially you, Sam, you can't even, come over here.
Withdrawals, proper withdrawals, like.
Great.
Like, it's all right. It's a bit like all right for you guys because obviously you can travel somewhere still. And because Angels, how far do you live away from the museum?
Like not even 5 minutes. I'm like literally down the street from the museum. I go by there all the time. I'm like, oh, look, there it is.
So in case she's just made it on Facebook Live, everybody,
I have to go down St. Louis to go the back way and off Franklin and Upswing.
So if anybody doesn't know, obviously the reason that I got these girls on is because we have they're kind of the same interest, probably most of the same interest in the paranormal as each other. And how did we meet, girls? Come on.
Facebook, right?
Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook. Yeah.
Wait, was it in the group?
Yeah.
We're like, oh.
Just a heads up, guys. This is probably what it's going to be like. We're going to be laughy, jokey. It's not going to be a normal, like, if people watch us, you know what we're like anyway. So So I'll just quick shout out to everybody before we get into it. Hi Chris, hi Ingrid, hi Tiffany. Hi
Is that Tiffany Turner?
Yeah.
Oh, hi.
And Emmanuel.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Manny. Hey, everybody. Yeah, I'm just like saying to people, hi, everybody.
Yeah, that's easy. Just like, hi, everybody. So, yes, the ladies said, I'm not going to say girls because girls sounds too, like, childish, so I'm going to say ladies.
What are you talking about?
So, we first met, obviously, because yes, everybody knows we're a show of ghost adventures, and obviously, we were in the. I think we first met. Was it in the visit? Not the visit. Was it a visitor supporters group? What was the other one called before you guys set up that other one?
I think it was in the support group, the visitor support group.
Yeah.
And then we all started talking and hit it off, you know.
Yeah.
It was good. And then we officially met in person at the museum.
Because I think because it was, I can't remember how long. Was it a year or a few years ago that we first met in Vegas? This is what the pandemic does.
Was it 2018 or 2019? I think it was 2019, right? Or
yeah, I think it was 2019. It was 2019, I think. Yeah. October,
right?
Yeah.
Because it was around Christmas time. Yeah. Or around Christmas, Halloween.
Christmas. Tiffany says it was the guest lobby before. Yeah, it was the guest lobby.
Okay, yeah.
Whatever it was.
Oh, okay.
See, she knows it's good job she's on here, ain't it? So let's first start off with Leslie. So how did you first get into the paranormal?
Well, I've been fascinated with paranormal since I was a kid. Watched the Unsolved Mysteries back in the 80s and 90s. And then it wasn't until I moved to Reno is when I was starting to actually have like paranormal experiences, which was really freaky because at first I really didn't understand what was going on, but I'm like, okay, well, obviously it's a ghost or something, you know, it's not human. And yeah, it was so weird. Just everything just started connecting and linking together. And it wasn't until like I was watching Ghost Adventures and stuff like that, I was like, whoa, this is actually kind of cool. You know, it's been a really good experience though, because I mean it's opened up doors and it's opened up myself to a new world, and it's just been really fun, and I don't plan on stopping ever.
Angel?
Okay. I got into the paranormal when I was about 8 years old, when I started noticing that like I could feel a presence around me. And I noticed that I was seeing this man, an image of a man, an older man, and he would follow me around. So I'm like, what the heck, you know? And I'm like, am I crazy? My mom's like, no, it's a ghost named Charlie. He lives up in the attics. And then that's when I started noticing that, you know, I could see things, you know, like ghosts and stuff like that more often throughout my childhood and my teen years. And I actually started reading the Sylvia Browne books because, you know, like it kind of helped me with my abilities and stuff like that. So it's been a long ride. I've you know, had experiences where I've been bruised, scratched, marked by unseen forces. I've heard voices, dealt with the bad stuff, and but I love it though. I've never been
That's
to
the
a
thing,
paranormal
innit? A lot of us
investigation.
love it, like.
Yeah, I'm like, I get scratched. I'm like, hey,
we can get scratched, punched, you know, scratch, punch, you know, whatever. We're still like, yeah, we still love it.
All right, and then we look crazy because like we'll be like, you know, just chilling or whatever, and then you hear something and you're like, wait, did you hear that? And people look at us like, what? Yeah.
So for everybody probably know. Well, I'm guessing a few people don't know who I am, as I can see in the chat room. But for people who don't know, and kind of who do know, I first got into the paranormal about It's coming up. It'll be like 7 years in May. That's like crazy. I'm still a baby compared to a lot of people. I'll say this now. I started watching the show Most Haunted in the UK, and a local team was advertising for a paranormal investigation. And like many, I'm going to go on a public ghost hunt, and kind of like stuff happened. But then like looking back at it, I'm kind of like looking back at it now, how far I've come. I was kind of like, yeah, that wasn't paranormal. That was probably like the team faking stuff and that. I'm not going to mention the team because we don't do that on the show. And then I got into Ghost Adventures, and let's say put it there. I've not looked back since. So.
Yeah, I think Ghost Adventures, not just for me, but for you guys and everyone else as well, has opened up the doors to like what is out there. Zach really showed, like, basically opened everyone's eyes. When I first saw it, when I moved here in Vegas, I'm like, oh, like Leslie, like, oh, this is interesting. Like what the. But it was cool.
And I know there's a bit of feedback, guys, from Angel's microphone, but it's just because she's got headphones in because she is at work at the minute, because she's a community carer, so. But we can hear you fine. It's all right.
Is that the clicking?
By the way, anybody.
Is that clicking on my end?
I think it's just your mic. Yeah, I think it's just your mic.
You want me to turn it off? I can turn it off. I thought it was you typing.
No, it's not me typing. Sean! No, it's fine. People can still hear. I think people can still hear you fine. So yeah, I can hear you fine. It's just
okay. Yeah, I thought it was you typing. I'm like, oh, she's typing fast. She's not even looking at the keyboard.
No. I ain't that good yet. Well, I can do that, Okay. So I don't know. What should we talk about then, girls?
Okay, how about our very first, no.
She's got to think though.
Our scariest paranormal experience. What's the scariest paranormal experience you guys had?
Whoever can go first, I'm not over.
I'll start with you guys because you guys are the paranormal investigators. I'm just an empathic medium.
I think my first scary experience, and this is when I was probably legitimately scared because I wasn't expecting it and I didn't know what to make of it until they told me about it. That is when I first saw my full body apparition.
And how did you feel?
Right there in front of me.
She's like, hey, what's up, Leslie?
Yeah, and it was, and we're at a residential house and someone had been experiencing some stuff, some nightmares, and just really a lot of unexplained activity. So they wanted us to come over and check it out and see if we could find anything. And we are all sitting down having dinner, and I felt drawn to this particular room. And mind you, this is the first time I've been to this house, and I did not have any idea as to the details of what was going on. But for some reason, I just kept looking towards this room, and I couldn't explain it, but something was there. And so other people were feeling it too, and we made the decision, okay, after dinner, we're going to go into that room, do some, investigating, some spirit box session, just the small stuff to kind of get the feel of what's going on. And nothing's really happening, nothing out of the, it was, you get a few words here and there, but nothing that would really, strike as, haunted or anything. And so the girls are all smokers, so they all went outside, smoked a cigarette. And I decided, I'm going to stay in this room by myself and just kind of get a feel of the vibe and see what I can pick up. And mind you, the lights were off. They had a little window that was facing the outside, so you can actually see the girls smoking, doing their thing. And so I'm just, standing in the dark, and person walks in and she bumps her knee against the chair.
Oh wow.
I look over, and then I see a full man, probably, I don't know, 30s, 40s, maybe 50s. But he was an adult, and he was male, and I can actually see the different things he was wearing. And he's sitting over there hunched behind a chair, and he's looking back and forth. And then I scream, and then he's making a run towards the wall and disappears.
Oh wow. That's trippy, dude. I would have freaked out. I probably would have ran into the wall with.
Yeah, and like this was
Oh wow.
probably not even like a half foot away from me.
Who do you think he was, though?
I don't know. Like I didn't feel anything negative from him because one, he kind of came off as like a traveling spirit, I guess, because the fact that he disappeared into the wall. And he wasn't like a shadow figure because his outline was more of a gray or white.
Yeah.
But I actually saw like, I could see through him. He was very transparent, and I saw like what things he was wearing. He was wearing a hat, a trench coat, some slacks and a fancy shoes. I mean, I could see like all the details and even like how long his hair was. It was crazy, and I screamed. That was probably the first time they've heard me scream that much, that loud, and they're just like, "What happened?" I'm like, "I saw something. I saw something." And she's like, "All right, let me go tell the other girls and see if they maybe know what's going on." And I could, I couldn't hear the exact words or the words that were being spoken, but I could tell the exact moment she told them what I had saw, because they were smoking, their jaws dropped and their cigarettes dropped, and they're just like, I mean, they looked like they had just seen it themselves. I had never seen their eyes that wide open before.
Oh wow.
And, it was kind of creepy, but I mean, that's the only time I saw him. He ran in the wall and disappeared, and that was that. So yeah, that was probably my first memorable experience so far. I mean, I got a lot of like memorable things, but I mean, you definitely do not forget your first apparition.
Nope.
Full body.
Definitely not. Definitely not. It's like I've seen apparitions appear like as shadows,
Yeah.
but then they disappear. But it's always like a small child, like the size of a child. And I don't know why I'm like it'll just appear up and then just disappear, and I'm like, what's the fudge? Like I don't even know if it's like a human ghost or a demon or something. But yeah.
Yeah, that's
Sam?
mine, like Leslie's, like the whole of obviously a few comments in the chat saying we don't ever forget our first apparition, especially if it's proper, like,
Yeah.
Right, okay, we've got to. Just give me a minute. We have to spam it in the. I don't know how to block it.
I don't think anyone ever forgets their first apparition, let alone their first paranormal experience.
I can't block it, so.
I never did, and it's like today, this memory, it still sticks with me, and I don't know, like, it's like, I'm weird in that sense where, you know what, this is actually kind of cool, because once you calm down, and then you gather yourself, and you're like, okay, I'm alive, I'm not dead, I'm not possessed or anything. Okay, so this is good. And then, it kind of gives me more of an inspiration to just keep going. Like, all right, I got this.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool, all right, and I don't know, like, and like, I've had stuff follow me home. I've had my bed shake. I have seen weird things in my apartment. In the apartment I'm in now, in my old apartment. I mean, it's just, I get stuff that just, I guess follows me around. But I don't know. I wouldn't change it for the world. And I'm so grateful for that experience because it just gave me more of a drive to just keep doing what I'm doing. And I don't regret it whatsoever.
Yeah. I think once you've been in it for so long, like you're just used to it, you know, and it's like normal for you.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, it's what people might think it's scary or weird. It's like, I think it's home and cozy. It's like, oh, this is cool, you know, and why
don't you get into bed with the ghost and all
yeah,
Huddle up.
like the other day, I felt like it was a couple months ago, and I felt my bed shake for no apparent reason. Like someone was like trying to shake the bed, and you know, it's like I'm kind of like, all right, just to make sure. I mean, it is Nevada. We do have small aftershocks, but nothing like crazy. And I Googled any kind of earthquake, you know, earthquakes in our area to see if like we had maybe an aftershock, but no aftershocks. And it was just my bed that shook, nothing else in my apartment. So I was like, and it was weird too, because I had gotten a spirit box for Christmas, and I decided, no, I'm going to turn it on and maybe see what happens. And there was a male voice that said bed. And as soon as that happened, I turned it off because I'm like, you know what? I need to go to
bed. Maybe I'm tired. I need some sleep. I'm seeing things, feeling things.
I'm not going to deal with this today.
Isn't your apartment complex like got a lot of history though, Leslie?
It is. It's a very old building. It was built or finished in 1906. And originally it was made for people who were coming to Reno to get divorced, where they would have, you know, places to stay. But I have heard from a reliable source that one woman actually committed suicide in a room upstairs. She hung herself in the closet, and every single time the girl will go in there to do her routine checkups and stuff, she always gets scratched.
Wow. So like right above you? Ew, wow.
Yeah, it's on the 4th floor. I don't know, it's like 412 or something. And then across the way, there's an actual room they use as a display area for new tenants that, you know, are looking to rent from here. And it's I want to say it's room 100 is the vacant room or the display room, and then right next to it, people will hear footsteps in that vacant room, and there's nobody here at night.
Oh wow!
And they just hear walking back and forth, and they talk to the girl the next morning. They're just like, we heard footsteps all night, you know. And she's like, door's locked, nobody's there when we leave. So,
what about your place, Angel? Is yours any history on it, or is yours just a normal house in Nevada?
No, my I don't think there's any normal house in Nevada.
That's true.
It's all haunted. All of Nevada's haunted. I live in a mobile park. So like we have a bunch of mobile homes, you know, and throughout the years I've learned from neighbors that we've had deaths such as suicides, murders, natural deaths, you know, and even with the natural deaths, because we live like in a senior type of community, you know, even though there's some family members there, but like a lot of times they're alone. So when they die, no one finds them for days, you know. I usually get like, you know, the ones that go in and out, you know, don't really harm you. But I actually did, when I first moved there with my mom after I left my ex, when I was doing laundry and I was, you know, I went to my brother's room to put the laundry in the closet, and I felt someone like following me, and I knew it was a woman. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I can hear the clicking. I'm like I'm talking. I hear the clicking. I'm like, I hope they can hear me.
Headphones. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Probably.
I think these are like almost 2 years old. I know, right? They don't want me to talk. But so okay, I went into my brother's room even after feeling this woman. I knew it was a woman because I could see her. And right as I like opened the closet door and I went to hang up the clothes, I dropped everything because I felt weird, like she was trying to get inside me. So I started grabbing the back of my head. And I'm like, no, 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 you know. And I go into my living room and I sit down because I'm trying to like calm down, but I could feel her, and it's like she was trying to tell me something or show me something, you know, but it was in the back of the head, and I could just feel this pressure. So I got up, you know, and I got the sage and I lit it, I started cleansing it. Right, so as I got to my parents' room, I broke down crying because like I could feel her. She left, you know, and my stepdad was like pissed. He was like, "You're gonna mess with my daughter. You mess with me. You don't mess with my daughter," you know. And so like after that night, a couple of weeks later, I was talking to my neighbor who I don't know, and I don't even know why it came up, but we started talking. He started talking about like the people that used to live there and were murdered and stuff. And so there's this story where a husband and his estranged wife, they have a history of domestic violence, and they one night they got into this argument and he ended up stabbing her in the neck, and they lived on the other side of our mobile home park. He stabbed her in the neck. She managed to get out and run. She's trying to run across the street for help. He got a shotgun and shot her in the back of the head. And it was the same woman that I saw, and I'm like, dude, like, and that's where I got the scratch on my neck. I think I showed it to you guys in the group. And it's like like it looked like a headless person, you know. And then after when he told me that, I was like, dude, like that's trippy, like what the fudge, you know. So I think that was my scariest experience there at that mobile home park. And ever since then, like there was some guy that committed suicide in his in his porch, and he lived right behind us, you know. So it's just there's a lot of death history there that people were telling me about. So
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
So mine.
Yeah.
My first like I remember it to like this day was, I'm not gonna say the location because people probably know the location, but this was the like Leslie. This she first saw her first apparition. My ever first profound paranormal experience was actually seeing me first ever shadow person. And I mean, like, it wasn't translucent. It was definitely a male because I saw it as like a male figure, not like a woman's figure outline and things like that. It was very fast. The only way I can explain it, if people want to picture it, is, you know, like you have the people who film in like the green morph suits, head to toe, can't see no eyes, hair, and that. This was how it was. This guy was, I'd say it was a guy because he looked like a guy, but it could have been anything really, you know. Was like that, just looked and went from right to left in there with me, you know. I was kind of like, to someone else, like, did you see that? And they're like, yep. And it was kind of like, with it being like, because some like locations, obviously Leslie and Angel will probably agree, and every other paranormal investigator, because I know there's a lot of people who actually investigate in the paranormal in this chat right now, that it's kind of like we go to these locations and sometimes things happen, sometimes things don't, and then when you get to the point where these things happen and it just sticks with you, and you can remember every single detail, you can say it all the time, and you always want to talk about it, and it's brilliant. But then it's kind of one of them at that point too, where you're like, why didn't I capture it on camera? Because you have these people who you speak to about things, and they're like, well, did you catch it on camera? Well, it mustn't be true. Do you agree, ladies?
Yes, definitely.
You know, and it's definitely like, in my experiencing with paranormal and going investigating, it's usually when you least expect it, when the crazy, activity happens. And I think at that point we're just so caught up in the moment to where sometimes we're forgetting to turn on our cameras and record it, or whatever the case may be. And there's one thing, someone told me, like, yourself is the best tool you can use in the paranormal, because you have all these senses that are sensitive to energies and stuff like that, and they'll having the camera and EVP sensing or digital recorder and stuff. So really cool for tools. But they just cover a part of the spectrum, where your body is a tool, and it can just it can pick up these things like crazy. And it's I'll be caught in the moment. I'll be like, oh my god, dude, did you see that? Holy, and you totally forget. You're like, oh my god, hold on. And then by the time you get the camera rolling or something, it's already calmed down or it's already gone, and you're like, damn.
Right.
But it's,
that's always the case, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, I've had a lot of experiences, and I think a lot of times too, and I could be wrong, but this is just my perception of what I have experienced. It's like a lot of the spirits, sometimes I think that they're like, they know like what the cameras do. So a lot of times maybe they just aren't comfortable with being recorded, or they just don't know what that camera's going to do. And a lot of times they won't even open up to you because of the cameras or whatever, whatever the case may be. And but I think when you're actually like alone with the spirit and you're in that moment, and they take that initiative to show who they are, I think that sort of evidence and that experience is worth more than any kind of paranormal, picture or video, because you can't put that into film. That would not do justice. And being able to experience stuff where, unfortunately, and I wish I could have caught it on camera and stuff like that. But even then, like, there's one thing I've learned, as soon as you have an experience, write it down. Write every little detail down that you can remember, because, stuff's going to happen and you're going to forget. And that's what I've been doing since I started investigating. Even if I don't post everything, I still write it down. I still document everything, because something's going to click at the last second, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, what happened when that thing happened? And then you're able to connect the dots and stuff like that. And I don't know. I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's interesting hearing,
too, so.
Yeah.
So, Tiffany said something to you, Angel. I'll read it out because obviously you probably can't see the comments. So Tiffany says, Angel, you live in a haunted place too. Think it attracts you. Near haunted museum, living in haunted mobile home park.
I do think a lot of it is attractive to me, I guess, not to sound conceited. But I mean, there's certain people that are very sensitive to where ghosts or like entities are drawn to, like, certain person just because of their energy. And I've also heard that a lot of times, like, the ghosts will try and communicate with you, which is why they're always coming to you, because they know that you can feel them and hear them and even see them, like they want to tell their story, they want help or something, I do think I attract ghosts like a magnet. And but yeah, even when my ex's house was haunted, like, I experienced a lot there, and it was just attracted to me. Like, I was always the one feeling it. My ex thought I was crazy. And then so when I left them, he's like, no, I'm hearing voices. Like I see these things and I'm like, haha. I left them there at his house. I got my own ghosts at my house. I don't need yours. But yeah, I definitely do think that they're attracted to like certain, not just me, but certain people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people do say they don't they that spirits might not be actually attracted to that person. It could be your aura or something like that. So
Yeah.
They know who's
I mean, not that they're in love with me, but no.
You wish.
I hope not. I want to be like that lady that married the ghost pirate. I'm just kidding.
Angel.
Like it's a 300-year-old pirate. I love him.
I don't
Now
think
that
you'd
one,
marry
I
a
don't
pirate
know.
though. I don't know what you'd want to marry. Spirit
I'd go for a
wise.
fireman or a policeman. I'm just kidding. No.
He's literally good. We're gonna break Angel by the end of this live, Leslie. I think.
Everybody, don't mind that. What I just said.
It's fine. This is what we want, you know. We want people to come on this live and feel comfortable. So
Yeah.
That's
there's a lot of weird things people could say and be attracted to and things like that. So yeah,
True. That is true. I'm pretty sure there are more weird people out there than me.
Normal's weird, right? Normal's boring, though, right? As we always say. So
It is. I'd rather be weird than normal.
almost too boring anyway.
Yeah.
So I know we have a few comments just come from Tiffany, which we'll answer later because that is about a haunted. I'm not going to say said haunted location, but that is a haunted location in Las Vegas that we kind of visit a lot when we can. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Tiff, sorry. So if anybody has any more questions to ask us, feel free to put in the comment section now. So have any of you been able to investigate during this pandemic? Because I know I haven't. I'm not allowed to. So
Does my house count?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Then yeah, I've investigated my house. Social distancing in my own home.
I actually went on Zach's flashlight tour at the museum on Halloween night.
How was that? Oh my god, I saw that too.
It was pretty crazy. It was really it was liberating because you feel like you're a kid in the candy store without supervision. So I mean, obviously you're being supervised and you respect Zach's museum and all of his artifacts, but you have a little more control and freedom to roam around as opposed to when you're doing it during the day. You have to follow your tour guide. At night, you can go wherever you want, assuming there's not any people in that particular room investigating. And the first room I went to was the basement, and I went down. And it's really cool because you're able to borrow a spirit box. And then you were also able to borrow a K2 meter. And then I brought my digital recorder because that's like the only thing you really can bring besides the two things that you're allowed to borrow.
Yeah.
And I had that thing the whole time I was, investigating and stuff like that. And I went down into the basement, and then the flashlight started to flicker back and forth, which was kind of, creepy. But it was actually kind of cool though, because it was enhancing the experience. Like, oh crap, this is, That I went into the pentagram that says painted on there, and then I sat in the middle. I turned everything on, and I was starting to just ask questions and stuff. And the majority of the whole time I was in the basement, it was a male voice. It was a dark male voice. And he kept saying, stay. And, you know, you only got like a certain amount of time before you got to, you know, go up and, you know, let the next people come down and investigate. But it was actually really cool. And I just, you know, I turned off my flashlight, so I was in complete darkness, and the only thing that you could really see was maybe the exit sign and, you know, the light from the camera. But, you know, it was, I mean, and I just went around and to different places, and anything that really felt the energy where it was strongest, I was going to go there.
Yeah.
And then my buddy Ted Moore, I went with him to do a couple investigations because he's got a local show that he does here in Reno, Nevada. So I did a couple episodes with him. So that was cool. That was fun to investigate with him. We got some good evidence. And the last one, we went to Eureka, and it was in a casino. And a fire had broken out, you know, in that casino, and, you know, some people did die. And we were in the room where some smoke was happening, and there was people telling us to get out. And so we thought, okay, well, is it just like this negative spirit that's just like not liking us there, or are they actually trying to help us out? And the more we thought about it, like, well, there's a fire going on, so maybe they're telling us to get out to like help us, you know, to help us out so we don't get trapped in the fire.
Yeah.
But then there was also a guy that came through, you know, we were asking questions, and one of my questions was like, did you commit suicide here? And there was a male voice, and he was very malicious about it. And he's like, what did he say? He's like, if I were you, I would. So I was like, damn, he's throwing some shade. You know, and, you know, when Ted, you know, he played it back from me, he was like, you know, you're not going to like this. I'm like, what is it? He's like, you know, this part happened, and when you ask this question, you know, this is what came back through the spirit box. And I was like, yeah, you know, but it comes with territory. And then Ted, he was getting offered to have a good time by a lady. It went from like, you know, $120 to like free.
She's like desperate, please.
Yeah. He's like, which one do I have to go in? But I mean, it was really cool. I mean, and you know, he's a very respectable friend of mine, and we were very compliant with with wearing the mask and stuff like that, and just, you know, being safe, washing our hands, stuff, you know, stuff like that. So I was still able to do some investigating, which was really cool. But I just, you know, I can't do as much because of the pandemic and, you know, certain guidelines and stuff. But yeah.
You're just so lucky to be able to do the flashlight tour. I just hope that he continues to do it now, and when I eventually can get to Las Vegas, that the tours and that last flashlight tours and that still go.
Yeah,
you know, I probably won't go into any of the crawl spaces like those.
You know, he likes to, you know, he wants to make sure everything's going to be okay and everything's going to run smoothly. And I think you know, because he's had such a good success rate with the flashlight tour, even if he did it for like a Halloween event or something like that, I think he would still keep doing it until, you know, he thinks of something else to do. But I think because it was so successful, and, you know, everything was fine, nobody, you know, got massively hurt, nothing got damaged, I think he'll keep it up. I would.
Yeah.
So it was really fun. I mean, I feel very lucky that I got to do it, especially on Halloween night. I'm like, you know what? I don't have any plans, and I'm going to do something fun.
So it's like a spur of the moment thing.
It was definitely worth it, though. Like, I would highly recommend anybody, if they get the chance, do it.
Yeah. It's very intense, especially at night when I did it. And like the basement was the one that the basement and the Dybbuk box room, like the basement, I was in there for a while, and then I was leaving, and you know how you walk through that little hallway before you get to the stairs?
Yeah.
For some reason, I like I said, like I felt something behind me, and then all of a sudden I just heard a bang on the wall. I go like up the stairs kind of quick, not running because I don't want to trip and fall. But right as I got to the top, I felt something pull me from like my waist area, trying to pull me down. I had a grip onto the railing. And Virginia was a tour guide, and she looked at me like, like, are you okay? So yeah, it's very intense.
Question 4 was from Tiffany regarding the museum. Do you believe the museum draws people back?
Yeah, I think it is.
You know, my first time going there, and I don't, you know, I've never experienced or felt anything like it before. So it was a whole new like processing type for me. But the first time I went, on my way back, like it just like it felt like something was calling me. Like you hear a song play in your head that's like from far away.
Yeah.
And like, you know, and it's and I just could not sleep. And it's not that I wasn't tired, because I was, you know, I was traveling, you know, I had work the next day. So like, you know, like I was, but I don't know, like it was calling me back the first time. And I don't know, like each and every time now, I feel like it's like you're going home visiting family. It's so weird, but it's so awesome too, because yeah, I love it there. I love the experience I get each and every time. Even if I don't get scratched or I just feel something touch my butt, you know, it doesn't matter. It's I don't know. It just feels it's like I'm visiting home. It's so cool because I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
you think it's like. Go ahead, sorry.
So that's like the thing, because like I know when my first ever visit, God, it seems like, well, it is ages ago. Like it was kind of like you step on the car park or parking lot, whatever you guys call it over there.
Parking lot.
And it's kind of like you feel the energy coming from that place, don't you? Like even if you like believe it. And it's kind of one of them locations where I think with any haunted location, some way it does call you back.
Yeah. It definitely grabs a hold of you. It's you know, I don't know if it's just because it's grabbing like your essence of your energy frequency type thing, but it's somehow it's connected towards you, and then you're just like, you know, and I don't ever feel like I'm in danger there, which is weird because a lot of people have terrible experiences there. But
yeah,
I have yet to, you know, have that negative experience to where I feel like my life's in fear if I go back. And even if I'm still going back because I love it there.
Yeah.
And I think like it's the whole fact, like, because if everybody knows who knows us, yes, we're Zach fans, and probably a lot of people in this chat are Zach fans. But I think it's kind of one of them, like, it's not. We don't go to the museum just the fact that it's Zach owns it, and the fact that you could possibly see Zach wandering. It's just because it's like a haunted location, like it's a haunted museum, because you don't really see like. I don't think there's I know there's a few museums in the UK which have haunted items and people can visit. I'm not sure if there's any in the States, obviously. I think there's a few in the States, but
yeah, and that's one thing that people need to realize. Like, I mean, yeah, if you do get to see them and meet them, it's great. You know, it just adds to the to the joy of to the day. But you know, I don't go there expecting to meet him or to say hi to him each and every time, because I know the dude is busy. It takes a lot to run a show, and you know, he's just, you know, he has a lot going on his plate right now. So especially because of the pandemic, you know, there's more restrictions and guidelines he has to follow, especially with being an asthmatic and stuff. So, you know, he's always busy. So you know, go in expecting to say hi and meet him all the time, but you know, go because you want to see all this cool shit. You know, and he does have a lot of cool stuff. You know, if you ever get the chance to do the RIP or the RIP tour, then definitely do it, because it's definitely worth the money.
Yeah, it is. I noticed a lot of the members in the group.
Anyway, so. Yeah, go on, Angel, go on. Go on.
Huh?
Go on.
No, I'm saying a lot of them, like a lot of the members in the group. Like I noticed they'll be like, oh, like I had a great experience, but I didn't see Zach, or I'm sad or something. You know, I'm just like you said, Leslie, like you don't want to go there expecting to see him. You know, you go there for the experience, to see the history of each artifact and item, you know, to learn something about, you know, the paranormal and stuff like that. So it's not just like, oh, you're gonna see Zach there, or you might see Zach there, but it's just like you're learning something as well, you know.
Yeah, that place changes so much too. So like when I first went there on opening day compared to now, it has grown and changed and expanded so much to where every day it's going to be a different experience. Each and every time you go, it's a different experience. And that's, you know, he's always looking to keep things fresh and interesting and new. And, you know, he's doing the best he can in this little confined space, because now it's, you know, it's gotten so big. You know, he's trying to keep up with the demand of people, because it's that great. And, you know, I'm so grateful that I've gone to meet him, but I've also had the chance to go multiple times and just see how much it's grown. I still have my old shirt from the first time I went. It's got holes and paint stains on it now, but you know, it's.
So you cherish it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good memories tied to that shirt, and you know, it's just. I love the fact that you go and it's always a different experience. To me, it's like a paranormal Disneyland, you
Yeah.
know.
Was there any comments? So there's a question off Emmanuel. Do you guys remember the episode at the museum? It was a satanic ritual, they said, but what was the purpose of the ritual? Not sure if he's talking about the ritual, which can't think, it wasn't Patty Negri, it was the other. Lady Snake. I'm not sure if he's talking about that bit of the episode, or let us know in the comments, Manuel, and we'll be able to answer your question better. Roy Garlick says John Shaw at least gives you the excitement, even if no activity happens and the staff are amazing. John's like the thing, like I love every part of the museum, but it's kind of like if anybody's been and if anybody's scared of clowns, has a phobia of clowns, yeah, you have to be careful, because there is a part in the museum which is called the Fun House. As you can imagine why it's called the Fun House. There's all, I've not been, but I'm assuming there's still clowns there.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just choking. I'm sorry. I have an itch in my throat. I'm good.
Again, I'm not sure if any of the staff jump out at you now, but you go through like a funhouse corridor type circus thing with flashy lights. So obviously, if you're epileptic, guys, beware. You can miss rooms. By the way, it is allowed to miss out on rooms if anybody is worried to go and things like that. Emmanuel says, exactly, don't go there with expectations of meeting Zach. If you meet him, cool. If not, oh well. Go with the intuition of learning history, but having a positive experience at the museum.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, if you do see him, don't like freak out like her. No, I didn't like freak out. Like,
no, I didn't freak out. I turned so red, and I'm just like.
So for like, if nobody knows, the first visit I went way back. And you go, like any fan, anybody thinking, oh yeah, you're not going to see that, blah, blah. Well, from what I can remember, we were on the top floor or second floor. I can't remember how many floors are in that place. But it's kind of like from room to room. Some rooms you have a bit of a walk to go to the upper end of the museum and things like that. And I remember the stairs, which has, like the walls on the paintings on the wall. Where you walk, I think you walk down to go back to where the bottom is, where we had that table, but apparently I don't think he has that table anymore. And you just like me, I like to nosy at everything, take in that atmosphere, and then first visit, there's Zach trying to hide on the stairs by ducking his head. You can clearly see it's him.
Playing
but I was kind of like, okay, walks on. But yeah, but you were kind of like a fan. I'm not saying I'm a weird fan, but because I'm not a weird fan, people might listen to this and be like, yeah, you're a weird fan. But when you kind of know that it's Zach from his shoe picking out of it, then because that was the very last bit. I think that was I think that was either the very last visit I did before, obviously due to this pandemic we can't travel, or because we'd just come out of a room and he'd gone into a room, obviously, and then he was we just walked past the basement stairs and he was creepily stood there staring at the group, and me thinking I need to turn around. I could, because sometimes, you guys, if you do go to the museum, if you're in tune and that, you do feel like you need to look back and think you're being watched. And then I looked over, and there's that looking creepy as under a dimmed light, and like I'm not doing everything. I look weird, but as you can imagine, guys.
I heard he has a tendency of staring.
And then like we kind of had a little bit of a staring competition.
Nice.
As you do. I think we both won. I don't know. Because we both didn't blink.
You're just going to say we both won.
And then I grabbed my friend, and then we turned back around and he was gone. So, so 2 minutes will. So Emmanuel, going on for that a minute. So Emmanuel said, no, the first episode they did on the museum before they opened it in the basement, they did a satanic ritual and did no, not the Halloween special.
I don't know why they did that ritual. I forgot. That I gotta look back at it.
I think it was just to conjure, just to rally up spirits. Because he's already, he's already having experiences down there anyway. So it was just to kind of add more fuel to the fire and make them more prominent, I guess, and
exciting.
I can't remember which. Obviously, I can't remember what ritual that you girl said Emmanuel was talking about, but I do remember an episode he actually did where he was in the basement and he was just showing the. They'd obviously repainted it or whatever they do.
Wasn't that? I think the one he's talking about was when Patty was in that wagon thing in the sideshow room, the one where John Shaw does his performance. That was the episode. I think that was the same one that Lady Snake did the ritual thing too, right?
Yeah.
It was Lady Snake and Patty were in that same room, and then Zach was in there, and. They moved the table out because of the pandemic and to give people the proper space in the distance. So when I went, the table was gone, but you could actually see the pentagram that was still there. And it was intense. Like, I mean, you could feel the energy from there. But, I think if you're not very comfortable with that sort of thing or really know how to handle it or be around that energy, it can probably make somebody feel really uneasy. And, like I could feel it. I could feel the whole energy was different in the basement, but it was at the same time, it was intriguing. you know, because you're like, oh, walking on the dark side, you know.
Just a quick, Angel, are you all right for a bit, or do you need to go? Because I know you're at work.
Yeah, I kind of gotta go.
It's fine. Me and Leslie can carry on.
Thank you for having me on here. Thank you for listening.
I'm sure this will be the last show we do together. So.
Aw. All right, love. Thank you so much, guys. Everybody, Sam, Leslie. Nice seeing you.
Miss you.
Love you. Miss you guys too. I hope to see you guys soon.
I know, right? Bye.
Bye.
So we'll continue on me and Leslie for a little while because, like I said, Angel's at work. Thank you, Angel, because she'll probably watch this back for taking the time to come and talk to us.
Yes.
I don't know if it's your sound now because Angel's gone and the sound's.
Huh?
It's your sound. We were blaming Angel and it sounds like you. But oh well. So yes, let's continue this on now. So Angel said Tiffany says so want to go back, yeah, on this pandemic. I feel you on that one, Tiffany, because UK we can't fly anywhere, travel anywhere only for work. So Emmanuel says that's why you go into the museum with protection and shields up and billion lots of placenta. Like this is the thing, because it's one of them. Like I don't want to scare people off, but I think even if you did help the protection, because nobody, probably Emmanuel doesn't know what happened to me. Leslie knows what happened to me. Tiffany knows what happened to me on my last visit, and so a little bit about is I always use protection. I don't do none of this prayer thing. I have spirit guides, which I use as my protection. They step in. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And Manny, okay. It says call him Manny, so. And I wear like crystals and things, and it's like I've never been like the museum's never really scared me. And Tiffany and Angel, and if Angel watches it back, I'm sure she'll be commenting when she watches it back. And Leslie will know, and people who know will watch this back and know what happened. So, hi Jonathan, late to the party, ain't you? We're nearly done. It's all right, it's Jonathan. So yeah, so a little bit about because the museum's like never really scared me, and it's like Leslie said, she's never really feared it. And it was kind of like I was kind of like scared because I did bring a blog out, and something will be released again soon about my experience at the museum. But I think Tiffany was there. I know you were there, Leslie, weren't you?
I think Tiffany was there. And then I think Steve was there too.
Yeah, I can't remember because I know it was me, you, Carl, Jonathan, Cece, Tiffany. Yeah. On the last visit I ever did, where I was kind of like, nope. So going on a little bit about what happened for anybody who doesn't know, just a little bit about the scratch at the museum, and I have also been nearly passed out at the museum, and I had to end the tour at the museum. So Leslie's like, go in a minute, so just continue. So for anybody who doesn't know, because you may not know, and obviously if you're in the museum group, you'll know what's happened. So I can still remember it to this day. To put things short, I was started for one visit, because this was 2 different occasions. One visit I got scratched.
Yes.
I believe in scratches and things like that, and it could have been me, but it was Tiffany. I think Angel was there on this visit, wasn't she, for when I got scratched?
I can't remember because I remember what room it was in.
Yeah.
But I knew it was going back between the 2 people who was actually there. Because some people had to work the next day, or they were busy with other plans. So I don't remember like offhand who was actually
there. But anyway, for anybody who doesn't know, you can feel free to comment and things like that while your views also. I first started, if anybody's been scratched, I know Jonathan, who's watching this right now, I'm not sure if Cece will be watching too, but Cece gets scratched most of the time when she goes to the museum, especially in the Dibbit box room for some reason. This was the first time. I've been scratched before at haunted locations, but you never go and think, oh yeah, I'm going to get scratched today. So I can remember I started feeling a bit funny in the Bala Lugosi's room, mirror room. Like, kind of like, you're on a ship, and a lot of people say that's how the museum makes you feel. Yeah. I've never looked in Bala Lugosi's mirror ever. I never will. For some reason, I don't want to. And my back started burning. And I thought nothing of it. Think, oh yeah, I'm probably red hot because Vegas heat, things like that, heat rash, things like that. That can happen because it is hot. And we were there when it was like summer in Vegas. Not like it's not summer every day in Vegas, but anyway.
Vegas is
yeah. And it was kind of like you get there and you feel like, well, because obviously we always make sure that we drink a lot and things like that. And I remember me back burning, like I say, in why everybody was obviously looking in the Bala Lugosi mirror or just looking at the artifacts, which he has in that room where the tour guide was talking. And as you do, you think, yeah, nothing of it. The pain is going to go away. So I think we were 3 rooms in. I wasn't really paying attention because sometimes I get anxiety. I don't know why, but that's how spirits affect me and energies affect me that way. Yeah. And it really started burning. We'd just gone into the Dr. Kevorkian band room. And that's when it got really bad. And that was when I was like, I think I've been scratched. And then the tour guide was like, what, you think you've been scratched? Because they do, because one thing is the tour guides and stuff do really care about the visitors. So
They do.
Because obviously it's the whole package and it's good customer service and things like that. And they want to know because obviously they wait there because no doubt they love the paranormal things like that. Anyway, so starts burning, and then I was like, right, we need to stop because they do like, even in the pandemic anyway, they kind of like, they don't rush it, but obviously they have you working in a timely fashion because especially on busy days they get a lot more groups in, and obviously you don't want to be taking up tour times because tour times obviously talk about the devil now Celia's just arrived.
Yeah.
And back started burning, and I was like to Leslie and Tiffany, right, we need to stop a minute because my back's burning. The other group was going and the tour guide was just like waiting for us because obviously we were talking. And Tiffany got a phone out, and you were not allowed to have phones, so we were told, well, we need to move, and then because obviously she needed to look what was happening and things like that. So we got a torch. The tour guide got his torch too, and like looking at your back, which is the most thing. I don't want randomers looking at your back, but anyway, and there was scratch marks there. I'm not saying it was malevolent because I didn't feel it was malevolent.
Yeah.
So that was the scratch incident. Then the last one, which I was with Leslie, Tiffany, Carl, Cece, and Jonathan. Cece and Jonathan are in the chat room right now, and so is Tiffany. So this is like this experience lives with me every day. It still lives to me this day, and I can't wait to go back to the museum because I want answers, and it's driving me mad because after about a year, I've not been for about a year, I've still not got answers, and it's driving me mad. So the very last experience I had, which was my last visit, and we started off where we were in the main foyer area. That's where it's either Stacia or one of the other tour guides, and she's he or she, whoever it is, it's normally a she in that bit area, talking about the Zach the machine thing, Zoltar, and it was kind of one of them where, because I think it was a few days after I'd got the scratchies, and I went and I was like, kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna amp my energy up, feel positive, and things like that. And I normally switch, like people who know me, now I just normally switch off from stuff if stuff happens, if I feel stuff, things like that. Anyway, because I don't want to know. Just like leave me alone. So, and then it was kind of like in the first room where they've got Zach's horror and other stuff, and the doll room, which puppy room, doll room, whatever it is, which a lot of people don't see. Cupboard. Don't want to really call it cupboard, but it's like a cupboard size because you can only allow 2 people in at a time. And it was kind of one of them where you couldn't, like, I couldn't concentrate, and CC, Jonathan and Leslie will definitely agree, but I couldn't concentrate, and they were like Stacia, I think I remember it rightly, it was Stacia, we had Stacia at that time, and they talk a little bit about what happened with, was it Lily in that room on the Facebook, on the live? It was, wasn't it? Where he put her on the floor. And she talks a bit about that, but I couldn't concentrate. For one, I looped out to the corridor, because you've got like a little like open corridor which splits off, because obviously you come through the main door of the museum. And I looped there, because normally when I go to the museum, I've probably heard it 1,000 times, but I still want to listen to it just in case you missed anything, or they've added some new information. And I looked out to the corridor and I saw the person go out the door. And the thing is with the person, that if somebody had gone through the door, you would have heard it, because this door's not like a slow, it's a slow shutting door, but it's a loud shutting door. And I didn't say nothing, you do. And then we continued on with the tour. I started to feel sick, and I was just thinking, oh, am I hot? Because sometimes you go in the museum with aircon and that, and it's still hot, because you can be standing out in the heat for a little bit. And I started feeling sick and uneasy and not really concentrating. And then this is when I refused to go in a few rooms. And everybody will know who's been to the museum, I never refuse to go into a room unless it makes me feel like don't go in there. So from the rooms that I can remember, which I didn't go in, it was I didn't go in the Dibbox room, I normally do. Peggy's room, I normally do. And there was a few other rooms, but I'll come back to that why. And it's one of, like I said, I felt like really uneasy. I felt like I wanted to like get out, and it's kind of like you think, you kind of start questioning your body and yourself, thinking, is this myself or is this something paranormal? Like you do with any location. So I just stand back a bit, try and get under an air conditioner, or if there's air comes in there, I don't know, but it's sometimes cool in there anyway. Went into the celebrity room, felt fine, because I think the celebrity room, I don't know if anybody else obviously is watching this live, but every time I've been into the celebrity room, I've not really felt nothing. So, but people could be different.
Yeah. But
you can see where I'm coming from, can't you, Leslie? Like, I don't know if you felt anything ever before in the celebrity room.
It wasn't like really thick like it would be in the basement, or even in Peggy's room, but it was just very mild. Wasn't like thick or intense, but I felt a little something, but not like you walk in a room and you're just like, whoa, But oh, go ahead.
No, go
on. And it's weird though too, because like when you go and look at the different things that are in there, the energy just slightly shifts and changes it a little bit. Obviously you go to Sharon Tate's, wedding dress, and that's gonna have more intense energy than Patrick Swayze's crystals and other stuff. So it just they kind of vary, but it's a little bit of energy going on down there.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, I don't think like it's as heavy as like you said, you don't think it's as heavy as not other places. Like, I don't mean heavy as in like it's not. You mean like Leslie says, some of the rooms you walk into at the museum, you feel there, and you get you like whenever.
Yeah.
And we were in Dr. Kevorkian's office, and they did the usual watch this video, blah blah blah, but I couldn't concentrate again. And I was looking around the room because I didn't feel bored, but at least kind of like I'm one of these people where if I've not got interest in anything, I'm gonna look around the room and see what I can see. And I remember there was like our group, because there was mostly in this group, there was mostly us friends, Leslie, Cece, Jonathan, Tiff, me and Carl. And then there was 3 others or 2 others, then from what I can remember, we didn't know. And I remember we were in Dr. Kevorkian's room. This is when it really started to like go down, shall we say. Because now a lot of people know this, like people have told people know about this, and it's really weird. Like if people have watched, well, a particular Ghost Dimension episode, they'll know what I mean when I say what I saw, especially in the same area. And we were talking in the Kevorkian room, listening to the video, what Zach put up, and a bit about Kevorkian and things like that. And there was 2 humans. I say humans because I don't want people thinking they were spirits. I know I shouldn't say humans, but there's no thinking that you can 2 other people behind me. And I remember at some point that the first time I looked back, and it was kind of like, because in Dr. Kevorkian's room, obviously you turn the lights off so you can watch the clip, and they've got this glass cabinet with, I think it's tools in or something, I can't remember now, full glass with like 2 lights on. And that's the only thing what's really lit up in the room at the time, apart from the TV or iPad they have. I can't remember if they have TV and iPad now. It might have all changed since I went. And I remember looking in the position of the cabinet, and the lights flickered on and off in the cabinet. I don't know if these lights were battery operated or electrical operated, but they're probably battery operated or electrical operated anyway. And to me, I was kind of like, well, if you could explain things, the lights would be flickering all the time, and they'd probably be like, well, these lights don't be alarmed. And I turned back thinking, nothing of it, it's probably just a trick of the light. Someone's moved, because there's only 2 sets of lights in that cabinet. So I thought, I'll look back a bit, because we were watching this clip. And then I had the feeling to look back again. Well, this time, behind the 2 people, because I think they were a couple, I saw like this, and I mean this massive black dark shadow towering like, I've got chills right now.
Whoa.
Towering over these 2 people who were obviously behind, because I think they were kind of new to this thing, so they were a bit nervous, and I was kind of like, nope. So I turned back, and I think the clip was just ending, and then I looked back again, and I saw it again. And I was kind of a bit like, this is where your heart starts going, heart palpitations and things like that. And Leslie was, in fact, in front of me, because I was behind Leslie, and then the others were like dotted around the room. And then the tall guy turns the light. Leslie turned the lights back on, and the tall guy goes, "So, who wants to open the van room?" And Leslie's like, "I'll do it." that's what she's like.
Yeah.
And Leslie went in and I followed Leslie, and I can only describe, and Leslie and that know about this because obviously I've spoken to him about it. I can only describe that the energy what came out of that room was hairy. Like it was like a full blast of like energy. And normally like in Kevorkian's room I feel a bit in the van room, but not this. And I was on it, and that's when I was like to my friends, and I said to the tour guides, right, I need to sit down, I can't stand. And then they were okay, fine. And then obviously you'd spend a few minutes in there, how long it is, looking at Kevorkian's room, and the tour guide is talking about stuff and that. And then I can't remember if it was a few, because I can't remember the whole. This is the thing, but you can go so many times and still not remember the order of rooms for some reason.
It's a lot of rooms.
In the last room, because I remember we were, and then we got to John Shaw's room.
Yeah.
Right. I've watched John Shaw's performance loads. If you go to the museum, people will know who John Shaw is and what he does. He never normally creeps me out, and it wasn't John who was creeping me out, because a lot of people, when I tell them this story, was like, are you sure you wasn't creeped out by John? No. So, because John's a sideshow performer, kind of musician thing, and he does things with his drill and things like that. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who's not been yet. And they have animatronics in this room. And they have, like, obviously I call it a bar, because it's like a wooden bar to separate you and John. And I remember that there was this little monkey thing, because there's like a little monkey figure thing. It doesn't move. A few tour guides at the time who no longer work there, I asked them things like that, as you do. And I've never been drawn to objects in the museum. This was the first time, and it was kind of like, because you've got the clown thing, whatever it is, with the two heads. And 2 minutes, I just need to block another spam it. Praise to YouTube, and all of a sudden spam coming. That's a first. Must be popular on there tonight. That's the block tonight. And yeah, you've got like this clown figure thing with the two heads. You know what I mean, don't you, Leslie? They're like bald heads, and they don't move. And I was drawn to, and this little monkey sits on like I don't know if it is a monkey, but that's how I remember it as a monkey. And I can actually, if anybody wants to see the photo, which said thing, there is a photo which the museum posted when they done promo shots of the said place that I was drawn to, which I can put on the group. I can put in the radio page and things like that. Just comment below, guys, if people want to see it. But you can understand what I was looking at. And I was drawn to this little mini monkey looking thing. So I wasn't paying no attention to John. I normally watch John, and I'm not saying little again. Jonathan's just winding me up as he does. It's the only way I can describe it, and you know that, Jonathan. So shh. So I was drawn to this thing. I'm going to say thing now, and then he'll be like, how many times are you going to say thing? Slap it for me, Cece. And so I decided to go up to this thing for some absolute reason. And the best way to describe it was I saw something looking back at me through this ring. And then this was kind of like where I was like, nope. Like, it wasn't an anxiety attack. People probably still think it was an anxiety attack. I've had many anxiety attacks and panic attacks. Because Cece and Jonathan at the back, because I was stood next to Cece. Jonathan Cole was up the corner. And then I started feeling really, really bad.
Yes.
Like, I was kind of like scratching at the walls. I was looking around, like, trying to get out. And
Yeah.
obviously the tour guide leaves you at this point because they change tour guides when you get to the other side of the funhouse. And I started feeling like the walls were closing in on me and I needed to get out. So I turned to Cece, and Cece looked at me, because me and Cece are in tune and things like that. I think we are, anyway, I'm sure she'll correct. And I turned to Cece, and I broke down, and she's like, "What's the matter?" And I was just like, I didn't run to Cece, but so it was a leaking monkey. I turned to Cece, and I was literally shaking. And not a lot of people know this, but I blacked out flat. I didn't black out as in I fainted, but obviously I remember the last thing I remember was Cece saying, "Right, we need to find the tour guide. We need to find the tour guide." But unfortunately, there was no tour guide near, because it was obviously to that point I was like, Cece knew I needed to get out. My friends knew I needed to get out. And it was kind of like, I think it had just passed and things like that, and I'd just continue on my way, through the Haunted Museum. And I was shaking, I had tears in my eyes, and the last thing I remember was when the lady who jumps out of the gypsy wagon and scares you is the clown. That's the last thing I remember. And Leslie and that'll know that's a longish... kind of long time after John's done that. I was kind of like, can't remember anything whatsoever.
The first time I saw you cry too.
Yeah, and that was when obviously they went away. They went off. Leslie stayed behind. Tiffany stayed behind, and Cece, Jonathan, and Carl stayed behind. And then I just looked at John, and John gave me that look of like, yeah, okay. And then Cece said back, she needs to get out. So then obviously Leslie and Tiffany continued on with the tour. I think Jonathan continued on with the tour, and so did Carl. It was just me and Cece. And obviously John let me out. And I remember walking out of the building, and it was kind of like I didn't collapse, but it was like poof, like my legs nearly went from under me. And at this point, Cece was kind of holding on to me because I literally just felt like I lost all my energy. And obviously, I was emotional. So we obviously go round to a little bit, and we were sitting outside the gift shop, and we were talking to the security guard at the time, and the security guard was asking what happened and things, and he was like, "Are you okay? Do you need cleansing?" And I'm, "Yeah, fine." And then he's like, "Do you feel faint?" And I'm like, "A little bit, but I know it's just because the energy's drawn out." So he's talking on his earpiece, and he's like, "Right, I'll grab and if you get me some water after a little bit, it was all right." And then I was kind of like, he was, because he likes to check up on you in case they have to ring an ambulance and things like that, because,
Right,
glad I didn't faint, because I wouldn't have probably liked it. Some random stranger like, "Oh, Tom, looking over me," but so yeah. And then I went into the gift shop, and I was kind of like, okay. And I remember we got in because we were staying at the Luxor, because obviously we're from England, as people can probably tell from my accent, and we were tourists, as they say. So I remember we were in obviously Cece's and Jonathan's car, because they share the car, and we were driving back to the hotel, and I started to feel rough again. And I've always been taught that to tell whatever's, if you feel anything's thingy, tell it to get the hightail back to where it was.
That's right.
And we were getting closer. We waited a little, and I thought, "Oh, I'll be okay." And everybody knows who's investigating with me, that they know stuff's gone down with me when I do not talk at all. I just shut down. I don't talk, and then if people in a kind of zone out, we got to the point where we were getting back to the Luxor, and I said in my mind's eye, right, what if there's anything with me right now, back to the museum. Started to feel like a bit better, and then our friends Cece and Jonathan dropped us off at the hotel. They were talking with Carl and blah blah blah, and I was like, I need to rush off because I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, I bet.
And I didn't run, but I've never moved so fast in Vegas heat because it's still a bit warm when it's night time in there. And I got to obviously the first bathroom I could find, and I did throw up. I'm not saying whether it's just the matter of fact that it's just the energy drained or I was in shock, but yeah. And then I think it was a few days after I was ill. I was ill for a few days.
I remember that.
So people can think their own thoughts. I don't mind. But I still think, and like I say, I found out about and not a lot of people know this because I've not shared this because they want people to know, the staff. But the museum that 4 of us were stood in at the time is the most active area in the funhouse. Not saying where, just in case they obviously don't want to share that info.
Yes.
So, talking to staff and that, because I was kind of like, right, because I did have friends who work at the museum, so I was kind of like, oh, is this okay to talk about this? And they told me a little bit about it, and they were like, oh, we can't understand why something would be attached to what you saw, because there's no like haunted any indentation. See me first going off now. There is no inkling that thing where I was attracted to was haunted. Not saying that the spirits in the museum don't jumping up from objects. We don't know how this world works, and that's why we investigate it. So yes, I'm still looking for answers. It's driving me mad after all these years because I want to know, like, some reasonable explanation. Like, has anybody else experienced it and things like that? So later on, I can say this. It will be coming out to the public again, guys, what happened to me, to try and get answers, because I think it'd be really good if I found somebody who knows what it kind of been, or if somebody works at the museum. Just saying, if anybody watches this who works at the museum, because obviously this is being posted in the museum group, what Tiffany runs with Angel. Because it's kind of one of them where I need to know, like, I don't want closure in a way, but I need to understand it, if that makes sense, of what happened. Because I don't want to, like, I'm not fearing, like Leslie said near enough at the beginning of this live, that she doesn't fear the museum. Like, I don't fear the museum, I want to go back. Whereas I think sort of few people, if that ever happened to them, where they would have been like, right, I'm not going back. But I want to go back.
I would still go back.
Because that's what we did, because we just want to think. So yeah, like I say, I kind of share that with you guys. It will be going public again soon to see if I can get answers and things like that, or a better understanding.
I don't know if you were there, but Tiffany was present when we were in Peggy's room, and this is when they started having the spirit box on, and she came in and she said sick. Plain.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that.
Yeah. And then we're just like, who's getting sick, Peggy? You know, what's going on? And now I don't know for sure if she was talking about you or was,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, we're not saying this, guys, because we think it's connected, because we don't know. So,
but it is ironic that she did say that around the same time you got sick. So it was just more like, it just adds more question. Like, okay, Peggy said this, so what does she mean by that? But that was, And we were all worried about you too, because we knew how excited you were to go see the museum, and just.
Well, it was basically, I think it wasn't the last trip before. I think it wasn't the date night before we were going back to. No.
Yeah. So, we felt bad in the sense that you couldn't enjoy yourself like you had wanted to, and but we do hope, like, one day we're able to go up there again, and you can face whatever was bothering you and be like, I want answers. But yeah, you gave us all a good scare though, because we have never.
It was like I've been in. Many people know this. I've been in like loads of haunted locations before. Like I've been scratched before, but I've had things thrown at me before. I've had to be helped to be taken out of a haunted location before. I mean, like physically held up because something affected me, but I've never experienced what I expect at the museum.
One thing I do notice about the museum, because the environment's more secluded, so you get all the windows and doors are closed and blocked off, so you're just in this whole different energy field and time zone and stuff like that. And so I think with all the different activity and the things that are going on, and then being confined in like small spaces, it kind of creates this ticking time bomb of activity, and depending on the person and how their body reacts to that particular energy, it can either greatly affect you or not even phase you at all. And I think you were just in that particular spot to where it was going to affect you.
Yeah, because I think it's kind of like one of them, like people may think this or not, people can get their own beliefs, but I think it's kind of like some energies in the museum, kind of like any haunted location, as soon as they pick up like what you can do, because I'm not saying I'm psychic or medium or anything like that, but I do sense when spirits talk to me. Spirits have talked to me before, spirits have shown themselves to me before, so I don't know if it was matter of fact of just like spirits trying to get me attention, and it's just how my body was like, nope, I don't know. So
yeah, but I'm glad you're okay now.
Yes. Till I probably go back. Oh, well, I shouldn't jinx myself, really, should I? But yeah, I'm excited to go back, because I know like there's been rooms added, the gift shop's been changed a lot, because obviously he's got that new build now. But I just like, I can't wait to go. Like a lot of people, like, cannot wait to go actually step foot in a haunted location again, because due to this pandemic in the UK, we've not been able to investigate for like forever. It seems like forever. So
same here. It sucks, and they actually had to get rid of a lot of stuff in the museum to make room for the 6 foot distance.
yeah.
So like that huge dining room table where they did all the seances and stuff like that, that's gone. So now you just have this whole floor. It's just, they got rid of a lot of stuff, even in the church where they had the chairs laid out and stuff like that. They put they had to just move everything and condense it to where they could accommodate the pandemic.
I think it's like pretty good though, because obviously I know people who have been. I know Leslie's been, and a few other people, and I think it's good because, like, from what I can see from like people's what I've posted in the group, like they've really adapted to like this whole pandemic thing, and it's good. He has.
He's done wonders with trying to adjust to everything, and in a sense, I think having the pandemic though, it kind of forced everything to slow down a little bit. So like when I took the tour, it felt more like an intimate experience.
Yeah.
versus, you know, you're just surrounded by, I mean, it's so cool to be surrounded by all the stuff and to just be in awe with it. But when you're doing the night tour and stuff like that and investigating, it kind of made it more just surreal, I guess. And you're able to just go more into places and explore a little more and stuff like that. And, you know, he's done really good for considering what happened with the pandemic.
Yeah, because I don't know if obviously any haunted location, because I'm not going to mention the haunted locations what has recently shut down here due to COVID, because it is upsetting for a lot of us that it's shut down. So I don't know whether it's the same in the States, but we recently had one said location shut down because unfortunately, obviously due to this pandemic, they can't have anybody visiting. And obviously paranormal investigators and paranormal teams were their main, like, not money makers, but that's where they mostly got there, you know, to keep this place running. So yeah. I don't know, obviously, if that's happened in the States. So
no, it's tough. A lot of businesses, especially that rely on tourism and just the general public, they have been greatly affected too. I mean, when I went to Vegas, and it was really weird though, because I mean, Vegas is obviously a bigger tourist attraction than Reno is. So when I left Reno, the airport was pretty dead, and then I landed on the Las Vegas airport, and there was a lot of people. I was just like, holy shit, you know, it's pandemic. And it was crazy. Like, even trying to get a Lyft or an Uber, it was just forget it. Like, it took like 20 minutes at least just to get a ding from them. And but it was really cool because the security guy, you know, he stood out there with you and chatted and, you know, make sure everybody was safe until they actually left. So it was pretty cool. But no, it was nuts. Like, I was really surprised because I saw, like, when this pandemic first started, like, it was a ghost town, like nobody on the street, on the strip at all. And then when I got here on just a couple days before October, just, it was crazy. Just people everywhere. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I remember when it first obviously happened that Vegas was a ghost town, and I was just like, wow. Because even I, like, I don't obviously live there, but I'm just used to seeing people, like, it's like the same over here, because you were like, I think we're just kind of like getting used to it now in a way, though, because to begin with, when this all obviously started to happen, we were kind of like, I know a lot of people are suffering with the mental health and things still, because obviously we can't see friends, family, and that. But I think now we're kind of getting not used to it, but like I say in the beginning, I know I'm repeating myself. This is what I have to do when I remember what I'm going to say. Because we used to, like, because obviously I moved and I've not really been out. So I've been literally in this house for like a year, and I can't, like, and I think anybody is going to get a little bit nervous, because I know me, because obviously in the UK they're starting this tier system to get us out of lockdown and to get us back to some normality. And, like, I know a few of us, especially me, is super nervous, like, to start getting back to normality.
Yeah, I've been,
because it's like the thing that we've known for like over a year, isn't it? And
it was, you know, this whole pandemic, it sucks because a lot of people lost loved ones. A lot of people got sick. I was one of those people that did get sick, but it was before it became this national pandemic and they even knew what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And, you know, I wouldn't wish it on anybody at all. And it just, you know, it's been a real big life transformation for me, because it made me just pause for a minute and really think about what's important, especially within myself. And just, you know, I realized that, there was a lot of unresolved, I don't want to say unresolved issues, but just, some healing that had been pushed down, for a really long time. And I was just like, this is a good time to really start healing and just get all that cleared out and, start fresh and start new. And that's what I did. And I'm really grateful for that, because there was a lot of stuff that I was just not dealing with.
Yeah. Because,
life was too busy, or, things weren't just, I didn't have the time to even, take the time to process it. And, but I'm glad I did, because, I just started doing a lot of soul searching, and, it was almost similar to another spiritual awakening, if that makes sense. Yeah. And I'm grateful for that. It sucks because it's a pandemic, and underneath the circumstances it had to happen under, but sometimes you just got to make the best out of a bad situation, and that's what I did.
I think a lot of people have been that though, because it's kind of like with us to do with the radio and that, because obviously if people know who've been following the radio for a while, it's kind of give us the opportunity to look back at what we can bring to the radio. It's give us a chance to look at it in a different way. And I think the good thing obviously about these radios and that is, due to this pandemic, people are kind of still getting their fix kind of thing, because obviously we're talking about the paranormal and things like that. So
no, it's definitely been a crazy time. And I will never forget though, going to the store and just seeing the toilet paper racks and the paper towels and everything just cleared out, and people acting.
It was the same over here.
It's just, it was terrible. I get it, people are scared, they're unsure of what's to come, but it's like, oh my God, they freak out and they go for toilet paper, and I don't know. It just, I would have never imagined.
Your computer's being weird.
Oh no, it's the gremlins.
I think it's just it's kind of like, haven't you been on for long enough now, Sam? So yeah, I think it'll be good. Hopefully everybody, I know whoever watches this, hopefully will be able to see each other again in person and hug, because I know me, I love hugs and trying to I love seeing friends, and it's so hard when you're used to seeing friends and you can't see friends, or you can't see friends and you can't hug them and things like that, because obviously social distancing and things like that. But we know, I know there is there is light at the end of the tunnel, I think, and I think it's kind of going to be one of them things where I think a lot of people are going to enjoy things a lot more and appreciate things a lot more, especially friendships and seeing family and things like that. So
it really, really makes you think about and realize what's important. And I think also too, this kind of leads you to realize who your real friends are and stuff like that. And I've just been grateful for a lot of things and a lot of, I guess, blessings in disguises that have come my way. And it'll definitely, things are only going to go up now from here. It'll get better, and then we'll meet each other and we'll hug each other for 10 minutes and
probably longer. We'll have to pry one another from each other, but
it'll be fun. Once we make another Vegas trip, it'll all be fun.
Certainly will be. So, with that said, because we've nearly been on air for 2 hours, we normally do it for an hour. But I don't mind. I'm my own boss on this radio thing, so I can do it as long as I want. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to leave it there. If any of you, obviously, who have been in the chat room would like to come on the radio on this and have a discussion show with us, please contact the radio page itself, because we will be taking bookings starting next month. We will be back with our usual shows where Carl's going with me, and we'll get paranormal investigator things on like this, but this is kind of one of them shows where it's going to be general public kind of thing. So to talk about stuff that's premium English coming through. So I want to thank everybody in the chat room. Chat's been going crazy. Thank you everybody for watching. And if you of course do watch this back and things like that, feel free to comment. We do see all your comments. And thank you so much to Leslie. It's so weird talking to you like this, but it's okay. What we can do at the meet.
That's right. I had fun. And I hope everybody else had fun too.
And obviously thanks to Angel, because no doubt she'll watch it back. And lastly, guys, before we go, please stay safe.
Yes.
And we shall all get through this.
That's right.
Night.
Bye, guys.